yeah. We're in
Oh,
the zone.
yeah.
Fire. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations on the new album.
I'm so excited and I'm grateful to be here to talk about it.
Listen, I heard this rumor, and I want you to tell me if this is true, that this album was recorded mostly live in single takes. And I just want to know if this is true, what were you hoping to capture in those like moments, those just moments?
Moments, that's right. The moments capturing lightning in a bottle.
Mm,
The essence of a moment is something that speaks to our humanity, our shared humanity. And we're in this time, where there's so many things, and I'm not saying it's all bad, but just with technology and AI and the loneliness epidemic and the feeling of isolation, there's a sense of empowerment that you get when you hear a band in the same room breathing that same air, singing and
mm,
dancing together, and you feel like you're in the middle of it by putting a recording on.
yeah.
And it speaks to our communal traditions throughout history of gathering and sharing our experience through song and through sound and through art and the craft of creativity.
Yeah.
And this is what I love about making an album for popular culture, but using these traditional techniques. It can speak to who we are and who we always have been, even if we have gotten away from it.
hmm I think that there's this thing that this way of creating creates an urgency, but also this laid back, we're in a room together kind of feel. Like those
Yes.
both those spaces are being inhabited, which is just so great. It's just so great.
And it takes the real stakes of the moment into account in a way that becomes a part of the art making process. You can't mess up. If you mess up, then that means you have to do another take.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not all listening to each other and connecting and really vibrating on the same wavelength, then it means we haven't gotten there yet. And that's a great allegory for humanity, humankind. Our whole life is about how we live with each other and how we leave it for the next generation.
Yeah. I feel like this album is speaking all of the languages that it needs to speak in this moment. And, I've listened to it nonstop since for quite a few days now. And what I love is that no matter what space I'm in, it's fitting. It's speaking to me. If I'm on my treadmill, if I'm just going for a walk doing groceries, if I'm speaking to my daughter, I just want to put on some background music. Like it's just there and present. And I wonder about the writing of this because I read that you wrote this while on tour. And what about the tour made it conducive or the moment that you were in to writing these songs?
I'd always thought about my music and classified it, if there was a genre, with my own genre, which is entitled social music. Social music, this
Listen, can I
idea of
tell you
music.
something? Can I tell you something right before
Yeah,
you say
go
that?
on. Yeah, of course.
I hosted a show on a jazz station that we started, and I called it
Yes.
Social Music because of you. That was the name of my show. I'm just telling you. Just wanted to say that.
I
Yeah,
love you.
high
I love
five.
it. Yeah. High five over the airwaves. We are a kindred spirits, and this is what I'm so grateful to hear that. That's humbling for me. That really makes me very, very grateful because the message is really about people and about us understanding that this is more than entertainment. What we do, what we share over these airwaves, that it's more than entertainment. It's a spiritual practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that has great power, and it brings us joy, it brings us connectivity. It's entertaining, but it is so much deeper. And when I wrote these songs, I didn't think about an album. I just was going through my process of really the unorthodox process of journaling through my guitar and process the world around me through looking out of the tour bus window with my guitar and singing, and then eventually recording little snippets, writing in my lyric book, writing ideas down, eventually recording. And what happened the night after I performed in Nashville on the road of this tour, I performed at the Ryman, the Mother Church, and left the next morning from Nashville. Before I left, I recorded Big Money, the song. And that was one of maybe 3 or 4 songs that I had written in the middle of traveling on the road, processing all these thoughts and ideas, these feelings. And then the rest of the album was written and recorded in less than 2 weeks
Wow.
when I decided to do it. And that moment was, it really was like catching lightning in a bottle. It was the essence of, it's a snapshot of me and the band and my philosophy, social music in this moment in time.
I heard you call this part of a repatriation process. And I just want to know exactly what you mean by that.
It's such an interesting idea, this umbrella that we call Americana. It's really a cultural umbrella, right? It's like the idea of all of the sounds and mythology and artifacts and folklore, the cultural heritage that makes up the essence of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about that, if there's going to be a term that exists that expresses that idea of Americana, an umbrella for us all, e pluribus unum, just the essence of our heritage and belief system, then it should include more things like gospel and soul and
Yes.
the spirituals, and jazz is Americana. And the music that led to funk and hip hop and R&B, all of it is a form of Americana. It's national identity. It's our ethos. It's our patriotism. And it was left out. And some of it hasn't been considered because we're moving forward. And as we change and evolve and we grow, history changes and evolves and grows. History is not stagnant.
Mm.
History, our understanding of it, having not been there and having it be an account of what happened, things are constantly evolving, and we're constantly exploring the meaning of it, and its meaning changes its history, and its history changes its meaning in the present, and vice versa. It's all happening.
Yeah.
So I thought this was a great opportunity to express that in an album at this moment in culture, to really express what I believe is the new Americana.
I feel like Black musicians right now are really on top of this repatriation idea, even if it's not called that. Like, I'm thinking about, I don't know, from Brittany Howard to Rhiannon Giddens to Beyonce, even, all sort of like, this is all of ours. Let me put it out here to show it to you.
Well, the beautiful moment in the process of making Big Money was realizing that Beyonce was finishing Cowboy Carter and was in this wavelength, and I didn't know that. And obviously, working on that album, we composed American Requiem, which
Yeah.
is the opening of the album, the opening of the Cowboy Carter tour. We did that with Beyonce and Dion, who's my co-pilot on this album, Big Money. Dion was the connective tissue that No ID, who is a legendary hip hop producer, and he was in this mind frame of wanting to make some music that was different to anything he's ever made, and going back into the history and understanding heritage and really reclaiming things and understanding how he falls in the lineage of things. And we were all on this wavelength, and it's now coming out into the world. Obviously Cowboy Carter and all the albums you mentioned, and just the different ways that it's continuing. I'm very proud to see it. It's just that happens. Movements of artists all think alike. Great minds think alike, as they say. I'm honored to be a part of that number, just to be able to, in this time, really reclaim things that were always a part of our heritage, and really take the ancestors and uplift their voices and continue their voices.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel like it's because a part of it is the moment that we're in. I feel like a part of it is the moment. Before we talk about this moment, I just want to play a little bit of Big Money so that we can talk about it, because what an earworm. Let's hear it.
Might as well live for something you can feel. Might as well live for something real. You can take it with you, 'cause it wasn't nothing with you before.
Come on, Jon Batiste. My goodness, what are you doing to us? I mean, you want to talk about something that not only made me like shake, But when I heard it for the first time, the words, might as well live for something real, might as well live for something you can feel, I felt verklempt. I got a little teary on the treadmill. You said you wrote this song before you even knew you were writing the album. Tell me about what was going through your mind. What did you want to say to the world?
No matter how hard you work, no matter what you do, you cannot add any more life to the balance sheet.
Ugh.
You can't do it. So that's something that equalizes the whole of humanity. And it's something that should be a call to understand, whoa, I'm here for this amount of time. Why am I here? What am I doing? What am I going to do? What am I meant to do? Let me really find that. And you'll realize that a lot of the things that maybe can be distracting or alluring are oftentimes not the answer. And most of the time, they're just a distraction.
Mm.
And that can be applied to so many different aspects of life, so many things we're seeing happen. You can see it through that filter. And it's just such a simple statement. But I think the beauty of art and lyricism and music in general is, how do you state something that is extremely layered and complex and deep, but stated with simple profundity?
Yes.
How do you state it in a way that has such a direct main line to the listener that they can see themselves in it, however or wherever they may be?
You know, you do this so well. You also pulled in someone that I think is a legend at doing this in Mr. Randy Newman, who is one of the great storytellers of American music. He's an icon. He takes a simple concept, creates like something that we can think about and dig our teeth into. And then you said, you know what? Let's pull him in to do a song by Ray Charles. I'm just going to play a little bit of it.
I've been so sad and lonesome since you've left this town. If I could beg a bottle or steal the money, I would be highway bound. I live on a lonely avenue.
Oh man, taking us to church. A little call and response. Jon Batiste, a duet, Lonely Avenue. With
Yeah, Lonely Avenue now.
How beautiful. How beautiful. How did this happen? You and Randy Newman in the studio together.
I'm very much a huge fan of Randy's because, you know, he's the soundtrack of my childhood. He scored a lot of the Pixar films, and I scored a Pixar movie as well. And that was that commonality. We spoke because, you know, I'm the king of cold calls. I picked up the phone one day and I decided, you know what? You might not hear from me in 7 years after we meet, but then one day out of the blue, I'll call you and then we'll start striking up regular conversations. I love to learn from the elders. I love to study the history. And I love to also let them know from me directly, if I can, if I have the opportunity, what they did, their contribution to culture is appreciated. You know, we have this commonality also of being really influenced by Ray Charles.
Yeah.
We love piano. He has a link to New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans. There was a lot I knew we had to talk about, so I cold called him. And then we started talking. Over the course of us talking, it started to be hanging out. And then over the course of us hanging out, it started to be jamming. And then over the course of us jamming, he started singing. And he hadn't been singing. He was, in fact, they were surprised that he was singing. They were like, "You've inspired him to sing again. He hasn't been in good fighting shape, so to speak, to sing." And that led to us wanting to really document the fact that he was in this inspired state. And we recorded it in his living room. It was not, again, it was not thought of as the album. It was just something that we were capturing. And we recorded, full circle moment, Ray Charles, one of the songs that is associated with Ray Charles, Lonely Avenue. So you know, the blues, again, is for me, very much a part of our national identity. I think it is the most distilled version of our national identity in music form. But
Mm-hmm.
blues is universal. It's beyond America. It's been in every form of indigenous music. The sound of the blues is really the expression of the human condition in sound.
Yeah.
And the blues is just so powerful as a medium, and for us to be able to do it together in that organic way, and the multi-generational representation of that, and to carry on the traditions of Ray Charles with
Mm-hmm.
Randy and I,
Come
it's
on.
really a dream come true.
A dream come true for you and such a gift for us because we get to listen to it and we get to take it in and hear Randy Newman's voice again. I want to ask you a little bit about what's happening. You know, I said that we're in a moment, and I want to talk a little bit about the moment that we're in because the song "Big Money" feels like a cautionary tale, but it's also full of hope.
It's something that we have really, really to reckon with in this time where there's more money now in the world than there's ever been.
Mm,
There's such a distance between those who are at the top of the wealth and who are at the bottom of
mm-hmm.
wealth.
Yeah.
There's a disparity in terms of how we collectively see our path moving forward. But there's also more possibility now than there's ever been. There's more opportunity for us to change things than there's ever been. There's more of a sense of being transformative, and the younger generation, and also of all generations, people are looking for ways to transform our way of life and are innovating the way that we live and think about living amongst one another together as one. And in the video that we made, it's to show that this is a tale that's as old as time. It's a tale as old as dirt. People coming into the first great innovation of nature, agriculture, farming. People going in, and this guy runs into town and says, "I have this thing that you can feed your chickens and they'll lay a golden egg." You see these people who are hardworking people. In the video, I play the villain. I'm the with the gold teeth,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
slick salesman. And these people buy into the lie, the idea that, oh, this is not enough. I need my chicken to lay golden eggs. So it also is a cautionary tale for us, everyday people, all of us. Everybody is susceptible to it and has been susceptible to it since the beginning. Even if you read in the book of Genesis, when the apple on the tree, there's always this idea that we can't fall victim to big money.
Now, might as well live for something you can feel. Might as well live for something real. Now, might as well live for something you can feel. Might as well live for something real. You can take it with you, 'cause it wasn't nothing with you before.
You know, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about your friend Stephen Colbert, and
Yes.
the fact that you have come into the public consciousness with him. You know, like
Yes.
you know, for those that were just didn't know of Jon Batiste, you burst out as a superstar on that show, and I wonder about how you are feeling about someone like him who brings such joy and catharsis to the news cycle for so many years. How you're feeling about that going away now?
It's a sign of the times, and it's a symptom of big money. We're in a place where the voice of free speech can be swayed by big money.
Mm-hmm.
It can be muted by big money, which ultimately the soul of a man, soul of a being on this earth cannot ever be canceled. So the voice that he has will find another megaphone. It will find another place to resonate. One of the first things we shared with each other was the things that inspired us.
Yeah.
For me, I shared these ideas of social music, and he shared this idea of really standing for something against all odds. And that's when I knew who Stephen Colbert was, when I saw that he was willing to not only like a scene like that, like an idea of that, but to be it in his craft. I saw that every night.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see it as I see it as an unfortunate symptom of big money that this has to happen, but I also see it as just the way things are. It's going to evolve and it's going to be even bigger and better. However, the next manifestation of his voice is in the public.
Yeah, I love this take. I love this take from you because that's the correct take. That it's something else that's coming down the pipe. I have one quick question for you about this album, Big Money. You called it a circus of love. How do you want people to feel when they hear this album and walk into that big old circus of love with you? What do you want? What do you want them to walk away with?
I just want people to know that everybody is welcome. Come one, come all. There's there's something that we have within us from the beginning. It's a light. I call it a light often. I think about it as a light because it shines and it illuminates the way for others. If you shine your light, other people will see it. It's the thing that we all know that is the right thing for us to be doing at the right time. When we have our light on, when it shines, when we're connected, when we're on track, when we're aligned with the source, with God, the creator, when we're in the essence of who we are, there's a sense of wonder. There's a sense of us being all under the tent together. There's a sense of everybody's unique essence, their soul fingerprint. It 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 is emboldened, and it isn't a cause for division. And that's the beauty of thinking about the tent as a metaphor and the tent revivals and the circus of love. This idea that we're in this creative church slash circus together, and we're all connecting to our divine principles. We're connecting to our divine essence, and who we are meant to be is shining through, and it's on
Mm-hmm.
stage for all to see.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have a place on stage. We all have a place in the band. We all have a place under the tent. So that's what it feels like for me when we're performing live and when I'm making this music. And when you put the record on, I hope that translates to you.
I'm going to tell you right now, it translates. It is by far um, my favorite thing that I've listened to in a very long time. So I want to thank you so, so much for Big Money. I can't wait for the rest of the world to hear it and take it in. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me about this remarkable new album. Thanks so much, Jon.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and I'm so glad to connect with you.